If you are not anchored and grounded in the Lord, you're not going to make it. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter who you love and what you have and what you believe. Unless the Lord is your firm foundation and you have intimacy with Him, you know Him deeply in your heart, nurturing that relationship with Him where He becomes your number one person, your number one friend, your number one, period. You're gonna fall and fall miserably because He is the only rock. There is no other. The only thing that is solid, eternal, permanent, consistent, only Him. You might say this and say that, but it's irrelevant. Look at the evidence. Look at the history. The only thing that can sustain you is the Lord. Not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your cat, not your daddy, not your mysticism, and not your drugs or alcohol. All of those things will lead you down a path to death. Now, I see it all the time. I see it all the time. You think this pill will do it, you think this new diet, you think this new program, you think this new corporation, this new job, this new place, this new house, this new wife, this new child, this new cat, this new hobby, this new faith, this new technology. No, it doesn't. That's why you have to find another one soon enough. Another vacation, another trip, another workshop, another drug, another mushroom, another psychedelic. It just doesn't do the trick because it is false. Quicksand. Why don't you just go to the rock, the eternal rock, the rock of Yasharel? Yod Hei Vav Hei is his name, the eternal one. Lay down your life. He's not asking you to commit suicide. It's the opposite. He's asking you to come to life aside. You already are dead, spiritually speaking. You are disconnected from the source, the one who breathed his breath in you. You're disconnected. You're not dying by laying down your life. You're becoming alive. You're laying down your death. All of these things that you think are so important, that have zero significance, they do not matter. Your house doesn't matter. Your job doesn't matter. The inflation does not matter. The Lord has given, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. It makes no difference. Live in a cave, live in a hotel, live on the street, live under a bridge. Makes no difference. Only the Lord. And unless you are firmly established in your trust in Him, not just say you believe, but, to believe in the purest, truest essence is to trust. And that is what I'm saying. You have to trust in the Lord with all your heart. Put everything all in on Papa. All in. No diversification, no portfolio. Everything that you have, put on the Lord. Bet on Him. It's a sure thing. No gambling here. The Lord is established. You trust in Him, He will deliver. He made life. He already showed you He could resurrect the dead. He's done that many times, even before Yeshua, in case you did not know, you bunch of godless Christians. Yeshua didn't show up in the scene all of a sudden on resurrections. I don't know why all of these agnostics, do you believe in the resurrection? Well, yes. Well, why are you talking about Jesus for? Did not Eliyahu resurrect a child? Did not Elisha resurrect a child? Let alone the bones of Elisha, when a dead man was thrown in the cave, touched the bones of Elisha and came back to life? If the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and He did. If the Lord formed the man from the dust, and He did. If the Lord breathed his spirit into the nostril of Adam and made him a living being, and he did, surely he can bring you back to life. He testified himself. He said, I am the Lord who put to death and maketh alive. Death is not the end. See, you say you trust in the Lord, but really you fear death, which makes death your God, because you would sell everything to protect your life. That's what Yeshua said. Those who, hold on to their life will lose it, but those who lose their life for my sake will find it. Because you make death your God, you make the flesh your God. The genuine followers, the true believers of old, they were martyrdom way before Yeshua. Antioch the Fourth, the Maccabean revolt, the desecration of the land. They died. They were the holy ones who held fast to the Torah. If they found you circumcising your child, you and the child would be put to death. Where was God? He allowed it to happen. But don't worry, because like I said, the Lord puts to death and maketh alive, and we know there is a resurrection. He witnessed, Yeshua said, I am the firstborn. He came to show you. It's not faith without evidence. It's not blind faith. It is faith by evidence. The earth itself is witness. This magical ball floating around in space. What is space? Space is impossible. Scientifically impossible, defies the laws of thermodynamics. Nobody knows, well, I say nobody, I mean the people who deny God, how this came to be. They cannot prove this. It's impossible. Regardless of their theories, they keep changing. It's impossible. Nature is supernatural. The Lord did it. That is evidence there is God, and God is true, faithful, compassionate, merciful, and graceful. Not only He made us, He also made a way for us to cover what we cannot do, so that we could be restored. How wonderful a Savior we have in the rock of everlasting. You have no reason not to trust in Him, and every reason to trust in Him. I cannot say this about anything else. No religion, no corporation, no idea, no nothing. Only the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, I am. There is only one of Him. He just is. In the beginning, He made the heavens and the earth. It wasn't His beginning. It's the beginning of this creation. He made it. And like Yeshua said, if you lose your life for His name's sake, you will gain it. He will resurrect you on that day to a resurrection of life. But if you don't, you still will be resurrected into a resurrection of judgment, which you do not want to experience. Because the Lord is just. He does not show favorites. If He judges you, you're gonna suffer severe consequences. Every sin matters when you're uncovered. Every little lie, every little theft, the things you did when you were 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Not to mention all the women you've been sleeping with, all the money you've embezzled, all the deception you've conducted, manipulation, acts of hatred, selfishness. Yeah, you're gonna be judged for all of that stuff. Every evil thought that you've ever thought. Do you really want to take that chance? See, it's a sure thing to go with God. It is a terrible bet and a gamble to go against Him. You do not want to take your chances here. Not to mention, you're not even gonna make it mentally unless you are firmly established in the Lord, because we are about to face a spiritual tsunami that is about to hit you at thousands of miles a second. and make your head spin. You wouldn't even know what hit you. It's gonna come so quick and destroy everything that you trust in and everything you put your hope in. And you're gonna sit there quietly, emptily, voidly, not knowing what to do, so out of it, in shock, losing everyone you love and everything you have. And you won't be able to sustain yourself and you're gonna die in your misery. Happens all the time. People just die. They can't take it. This one man thought his daughter was kidnapped, couldn't find her, he jumped off the LAX building. He couldn't take it. He wasn't a man of faith. If you have faith, if you trust in the Lord, well, even if your daughter was kidnapped, you're not going to lose it. You're not going to snap because you're anchored in the hope of Israel, the hope, the Lord. You know that even if she is alive, even if she is dead, even if whatever, God is in control. No one can snatch a soul from the hands of the Lord. So you would pray, you would fast, you would seek counsel and comfort, and the Lord will give it to you because you are with Him. You're doing His will and you trust in Him. You are near to Him. He is your rock, He is your source, and the Lord is faithful. So He will comfort you so that you could endure the suffering, you could endure the loss, you could endure the pain that you otherwise could not. And there will be pain. Read the book of Lamentation. It's all in there. It already happened before. And everybody knows history repeats itself. I don't know why you don't want to believe it. Except that you just don't want to. And that's the end of it. No logical reason. You just don't want to. You refuse to believe. But you have every reason to believe. Happened before, will happen again. Cycle of judgments. Put your trust in the Lord, not in your liquor, not in your Amway, not in your stocks, not in your wife, not in your home or your bunker or your bomb shelter. All of these things will decay. All of your canned tuna that you've been stocking for years, you're gonna open it to find it's full of maggots and worms and starve to death in your caves, under the rocks and under the mountains. It will not sustain you. But do whatever you want. I'm just giving you the word of the Lord. A call for true, genuine, wholehearted repentance. I don't need to have a bunker. I don't need to have tuna. I don't need to have all that stuff, survival kit. No, I don't need to have an escape bag. All I have to do is be still and know that He is God. And He will deliver. And even if He doesn't, still I will worship Him, knowing He will resurrect me on the day of righteousness. As for you, do whatever you want, and you will bear the consequences. You've been warned.
You know, Guy just got through telling you all about faith and trust and how to prepare and what trust means. When I was little, my father sometimes would put me on a high ledge and hold his hands out and go, "Jump, Stevie, jump." And I would go, "No, I'm scared." He goes, "That's okay. Daddy's got you." And he looks at me, his hands extended. Now I know He's my father. I believe He's my father. But now I have to trust, which means there's something I have to do to prove that I believe He's my father. He says, "Daddy's not going to let you fall. Jump." Right? Remember those moments? Or your mother? And you did it because your mother was there or your father was there and you trusted them. Of course, you believe in them, but do you trust them? So when you trust, you actually act on something. You actually do it. When you trust, you actually act on it. You actually do it. Believe, though, the devil believes. But the trust means something now is going to have to prove that you believe in me. That's trust. Because trust will give you something to do in order to prove or to show that you believe. Okay, you trust me? Friends have gotten in the car with me. Where are we going? Don't worry about it. Now, they don't have to get in the car with me. Maybe I'm going to go and kill them. I don't know where you're taking me. Don't worry about it. They get in the car. They asked me where we were going. What are we doing? I didn't tell them. I said, don't worry about it. Come on. And they got in the car. They don't know where we're going. They don't know what we're doing. But that proved trust. Well, I trust him. He's not going to kill me. He's not going to drive over a cliff. They believe in me, but do they trust me? Well, the trust, they go, no. And then you'll get, no, I tell you what, I'll just follow you. You'll get those people too, right? No, I don't want to go anywhere. Why don't we just stay here, right? Because they don't trust you. People that trust you go along, or they obey, or they do, because they trust you. Do you trust the Lord? Hannah wasn't told to fast when she needed a baby. She did it on her own. David wasn't told to fast when his baby was sick and dying. He did it on his own. You have to be told to fast, or are you doing it on your own? Or when you are encouraged to fast. Nineveh wasn't told to fast. They did it on their own. They weren't even Christians. They weren't even Jews. They were pretty much rebels and godless people, but on their own, they knew what to do. No one has to tell you, even people that don't go to church or go to synagogue, many of them know what to do. I had a Muslim neighbor. I didn't have to say I'm hungry or I have no food. He and his wife are Muslim. You know what they did? They just made food. Or while they're having dinner, I live next door to them. I don't go to mosque with them. They don't have religious Shabbat with me. Hey, take a plate over to Steve, see if he has something to eat. And the reason why they did it, Majid told me, well, I know you don't have a wife. I know you don't have a mother. You live alone. So I tell my wife, let's see if he's got something to eat. We're making food. Let's give him a plate. I never asked them. They did that on their own. There are people that know you and they don't do on their own. God knows you. Does he really have to whip you and tell you? You show what you trust in every time you choose something other than him, whether it's a bottle or a cigarette or a drug paraphernalia of some kind, injecting or smoking, inhaling or whatever, however you take it, popping pills. But you're trusting in the pill. You're trusting in the bottle. You're not trusting in the Lord. What's your New Year resolution? I'll tell you what mine is. Mine is going to talk to all of you the way the Lord talked to Adam. Here are the rules. This is what I want. I'm out of here. There'll be no browbeating you about your addiction or your problems or your issues. No. I've already told all of you. So all of you who've heard those rebukes and those corrections, you won't hear another one from me. It's over. You're too old. You've heard too much. And now it's time to withdraw from speaking it and just watching you obeying it, doing it or not. The Lord has done that over and over and over with Israel. Now, I'll intercede, of course, and pray about specific things that are not about old things, not about the same things for all these years. No, it have to be something new and never heard of. Something to discuss that's new and never heard of, but nothing over what has been discussed and talked about. All of you have the word. Some of you have the Spirit. And you know the Lord. Or you know of him. So you already know exactly what to do. The rest is on your shoulders. See, the Lord is waiting for you to trust in him. He, unless the Lord build the house, those that build in vain. Well, your spiritual house, not your physical house, your spiritual house, your spiritual vehicle, not your car, your body, our mind, our heart, our body, our soul. So you cannot go into 2025 doing what you've done for the last 25 years. You've got to tell yourself, this is it. Like Michael Jackson's last concert tour. This is it. There's a point where you draw a line in the sand, as politicians like to say to their enemies, and you say, this is it. The buck stops here. Else you're going to find yourself in a vicious cycle, and that vicious cycle going into a new year with that same vicious cycle of the way you give to God, the way you serve God, the way you pray, the kind of friend you are, the kind of husband you are, the kind of wife you are, the kind of father, son, neighbor you are. You have to draw a line in the sand. And you have to do that. And the people that love you have to help you do that by not enabling what you've been doing for the last 10, 15 years the same way. It's time to trust the Lord, meaning jump into his arms. Don't look at his arms while he's saying, believe me. Do you believe me? Yes, Lord. You know I love you? Yes. Well, jump. No. There's no benefit unless you jump. Not into alcohol, not into drugs, not into exercise. Everybody's exercise New Year's resolution. No, jump into the arms of the Lord. Knees on the ground, hands up to the Lord, mind stayed on him, and life and physical matter and everything that you possess belongs to him. Let the Lord build your house. Because if he's not building it, you are. And that means it's going to collapse. It's already collapsed. But your only chance of rebuilding it or throwing it away, demolishing it, and letting the Lord start from scratch to build it up is trust in the Lord.